Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing good. Now we are going to learn about seaborne heat map, and this is one of the important plotting in seaborne, and we will understand that. So let us start without delay. Let us start with our topic, guys. We are going to understand about seaborne heat map, and this is really important to understand the correlation between features. When we're talking about correlation, why it is important to understand in case of machine learning? If you will not understand the correlation, you will not be able to get whether they are tightly coupled or loosely coupled. See, because we have to get rid of some of the features, right? If you want to go ahead and if you want to make the regressions or like everything should be in a proper manner, right? So the machines can learn and give you the output or the predicted output in future. So that is why to understand the correlation, we are preferring in case of our whole AI journey, we are going to prefer on heat map. So we'll start on our things. So first, what is the thing we are doing? This we are importing our libraries. So I have imported my seaborne because I'm getting or I'm applying all my plotting for seaborne. Then I'm getting my matplotlib.pyplot, numpy, then pandas. So after that, what is the first thing we have to do, guys? First, we have to get the data, right? Then after that, we have to get the x and y axis, correct? So what I'm doing, first I have taken some random values of 10 and 8. So like it is going to generate all my random values between these. Then I have taken a data frame, okay, for better labeling and potential. So when we are creating this, what exactly we are understanding, guys, when we're talking about correlations, we have consider that you have some 20 or 30 features or 50 or 100 features. So it will just take all features. It will take all features and it is going to give you the correlation between them. So here, my core thing is I have to take my data, and that is the whole thing. And as I have not labeled my data here, it's just plain data, right? I have not labeled them. I need to define my row wise or my x-axis what are the inputs and y-axis what are the inputs, because in normal case or in normal heat map, you should be able to understand, okay, what like everything will be coming in a linear format, like one-to-one mapping, and everything will be coming. So here I don't have that, so I am creating my columns and indexes for that. Like I'm creating my x-axis and my y-axis for that. So my x-axis is going to be this one. I am just taking feature underscore, and I'm telling, okay, my I should be between 0 to 8 or my range, right? Then my y-axis I'm telling, okay, sample underscore it should start and it should be till 10. So how it is going to be visible? Let me just scroll it down a bit. So you can see here, okay, my features are coming like underscore 1, underscore 2 till underscore 8, and my samples are coming till underscore 10. Okay. Now, and whole my data, whatever my data or the random variables or values are going to be coming, that's going to be divided between these columns. Okay. Now we will create our heat map, right? So we understood, okay, we have to import our libraries, we have to create x-axis or y-axis or data, right? We have to create a data frame if we have to, or we have a ready-made data, we have to take that and we have to get ready for the heat map. So we have taken my we are creating our fixed size or our plot area, right? You can adjust this based on a requirement whenever you are working on this. That I am creating my axis. So here this is again a variable, okay? Whatever the heat map I am creating, I am assigning that to a variable so that it is going to be helping me for further customization of it, right? Because we have it's not only that we are creating heat map. If we want, you can customize with different color palettes, different titles. Then you can label them, or you can change the rotation of your ticks. So everything we can do here, right? So here, how I am implementing my heat map, sns.heatmap, that is a method. SNS is my alias name, and heat map, sns.heatmap, and what is the first thing I have to give input, guys? My data. So I did it. I have imported, or I have given my input as a data, df. Then we have few features to consider here. If you do not want, you can leave it, but it is always better to take all these features. Few of them, I'll tell you which are them. One is and not equal to true. You should always take this. Why? What is the meaning of and not equal to true? That means it is going to show all values in each cell. Without this, it's going to come with like without these numbers. Like you are seeing 0.46, 0.48 and all these things, right? You cannot see that. However, if we keep and not equal to true, it is going to be very legible or very clearly visible all numbers, and it is going to be giving a clear representation. Then f empty equal to 0.2f, that means whatever the annotations I am getting, I am telling that my formatting or my decimal should be ended up with 2 decimal only. Decimal value should be ended up with 2 decimals. C map, it's a color map. Again, these are different styles, right? The styles in which you can create your plottings. So here we have different kind of color maps. You can see we have verdis, cool, warm or blues. So you can try it out by changing different color map. However, I have taken here verdis. Then line width I have taken 0.5. Okay, line width means whatever we are getting this heat map, right? All these lines which is going to be constructed to create the plot, that length is or that width is going to be 0.5. Line color is black. Okay, the heat map, the cross section, whichever it is going to create, it is going to be black. C bar underscore KWS, add a label to the color bar. Like if you want to add label, you can do that for the color bar. That means this one, right? I mean this side which you are seeing, that is your color bar. Then we have center 0.5. That means you are saying center the color map around a specific value. Okay, that means I am keeping this. I'm mapping this with my heat map. Then we have V mean. V mean equal to 1. That means, so V mean means if I'll not keep it, right, it is not going to give me the whole value. Like I want my data should be presented between -1 to 1. Right? Just to understand the more better visibility and correlation between all the features, right? I want that. If I'll not keep it, it is not going to give me the full representation. So V mean equal to -1 is a very important feature. So what I would suggest whenever you're creating, you can take this, you can take this, you can take this as well, because you do not want that your value should be ended up with 7 or 8 decimals by default, and you can take V mean. So these are your basic things. Whenever you're creating, you can take those values. The next is what are the things we are going to do, guys? We are going to set our title, because title is important to understand or to get to know what is the heat map exactly, right? Here I am giving Seaborn heat map example. I am defining my font size. Okay, I am defining my X label. I am defining my Y label. If you take PLT directly, right? PLT.title it is going to be. Here I have taken AX, so AX.setTitle. So that is a difference. If you take PLT, set won't be there. It's going to be PLT.title, PLT.xLabel, PLT.Y label, like that. So X label I have taken features, because I have defined my features on my data frame, and samples I have taken in my Y label. And again at the same time I have taken the fonts. Fonts again you can change it according to your customization. So next, xticks I have taken, right? PLT.xticks, I am giving my some rotation to all those labels which you are getting here, right? In x-axis, as it is not going to look good, right? It will keep straight or perpendicular. I have given an angle of 45 degree, and this one means axis, like horizontal axis, I'm telling it should be aligned to right. If I'm giving an angle, it is going to be aligned towards right. Then white ticks I'm giving 0 rotation. Then plt.tight layout, I told you what exactly it is. It is going to give you a legible view, or it is not going to overlap the components on among each others. Okay. Then we have plt.show. We will run this. What we are getting, let us check that. It takes some time and we will get the same thing. However, okay, let it run. By the meantime, let me explain you. So here, okay, we got it. Yeah, we got it. So here we are seeing that Seaborn heat map example is my title. Okay, this is your color bar, color intensity. It is changing, right? It is showing how your color intensity is changing. You can see from a dark blue, it become like light green or something, right? So the dark blue area which we are seeing, that like those values are coming under -1. However, we do not have any values like that. Correct here in this. Do we have any minus values? We don't have. Then we have the next target is minus 0.75. Do we have any values like that? We don't have. So we are not able to see that color here, right? Then minus 0.5, we don't have that color. Minus 0.25, we don't have. 0, do we have any? We do not have much. But however, we have some values between 0.00 to 0.25. So, you will see this color, right? 0.05, 0.07. All are coming in between this range, like 0.00 to 0.25 range. Okay. Then we have 0.54, 0.53. So, all are coming between this range, 0.5 to 0.75. So, like that, we are getting the color coding. Now, how you will understand the relation? The more darker color, right? If it is very dark, like in case of either towards this, right? Towards this, like towards the top or towards the bottom, like towards minus 0.75 to -1 or 0.75 to 1. The values which are coming in between those ranges, those have high correlation. That means I can say that if you see this plot, I have feature 8 and sample 1 have high correlation because that value is 0.98. Similarly, 0.90 is high, right? 0.90 again is high. 0.90, feature 7 and sample 1 is having high correlation. Similarly, do we have any 0.9 values? We do not have. Yeah, we have one more here. Sample 3. Okay. Sample 3 and feature 3, we have high correlation. Similarly, feature 6 and sample 4, we have high correlation. Sample 5 and feature 5 have high correlation. Sample 8 and feature 5 have high correlation. Like that, we can be able to understand from this plot. Okay, like, and I already told you why this is important. To understand the correlation is really necessary, because based on that, either you have to keep those features or you can drop off if that is so irrelevant, right? If you go and work in your real scenarios, right, in live projects, these things are really matters most. So practice. If you practice, once you will get your interview, once you will crack those interviews, you will understand why these things are important, because you will get a really hands-on experience or really practical experience during your work life. So yeah, we will understand our further topics of Seaborn plotting in our upcoming videos. And Seaborn is one of the important uh, concepts to understand based on the plotting. Specifically, people who are looking for data science field, or maybe they wanted to become a data scientist or anything related to those roles. So yeah, we'll see you next. Well, that is all for now. We will cover further topics of Seaborn plotting in our upcoming videos. Till that time, see you. Please start subscribing, like, share your comments, share your feedback, share this channel link to all your near ones and friends. Till the time, see you. Bye. Take care.